When you're growing up in a small community, it's easy to take the wrong turn in life. Peer pressure has a major effect on the lives of our young ones, and the wrong peer pressure can lead to the start of a dangerous circle where alcohol, tobacco, petrol and cannabis use takes control of their lives. My name's Simone Bacon. I'm from Jiltmingan community, which is 150 k's away from Katherine, south of Katherine, along the Roper Highway. I've always liked kids and I've always enjoyed hanging around them because they're so full of energy and it's refreshing. So when I got offered a job with Sunrise Health Service as a youth worker, although I didn't have any skills in it at the time, I thought, you know what, this is probably the chance, you know, that you can do something. And my nana's always been on to me and my mum about, you know, don't just come back and go into that routine of, you know, getting married or having kids or going on the alcohol, going on the gunja, going on the petrol. If you get the younger ones strong and if you get them educated and if you put it into them that they're needed, that they're wanted, you won't run into the chances of them, you know, speaking to them when they're in their teens, addicted to alcohol, addicted to cannabis. If you can, you know, put it into their heads that your community, your family, your culture needs you, and then you won't run into the chances of them using and abusing substances. If I had a message for all the mob out there, it'd be that it's your family and your culture and your community that misses you if you pass away. It's not ganja, it's not alcohol, it's not the petrol, it's your family. They're the ones that have to live with not seeing you there anymore. They're the ones that have to go through the heartache, go through the pain of burying you. Ganja and alcohol, they got no feelings. It's your family. You should really think about your family and go back to culture side more. That's where you should be.
My name is Godfrey Britnie. I come from Nuka community. I feel very sad about people who's taking cannabis in front of their family, children. It's because the kids not getting any love from their parents or from their family. They're missing out on teaching, education, like in the camp, storytelling, hunting. They're not accepted when for employment. Like you gotta have some tests if you're on drugs. But if you're on drugs, then you won't get the job. Think before you're taking cannabis. Think about your family, your community, and even yourself.
I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Ruth Joshua. I have been working ever since for Territory Health and Sunrise. I've been working with Aboriginal people, my family, for a long time now. So looking at the community is really, really sad and, you know, very unhappy. The elderly people, they're not happy because they're smoking ganja and everything and put us to shame. When people got no ganja, they're stressed out, they get very annoying, and you can't go to them with a happy face. I think they just tell you to go because they're not themselves no more. That's the last. You better look after yourself now and try to start thinking about your kid. Because I care, I love them as a family, I respect that. What can I do more? So this is the point where it hurts me a bit, you know, because I love them as a family. I don't want to lose them, to lose their children. They said, I don't know, father and mother. Just terrible.
My name's Helene Ahmadi. I'm from Jiltmingan community. Jiltmingan's about 150 kilometres south of Katherine. Population of about 300 can go over at times. It's a nice little community right on the Roper River. Cannabis impacts on all those young families that have either parent, involved or both parents involved with taking cannabis. Home life isn't your normal home life. You've got your fights to deal with, you've got money problems. And just that person not being around for the children. Yeah, and that's a sad thing because, you have these little ones coming up, especially the young boys, that want dad around or dad to take them wherever, and they can't because the next day, they're not wanting to really move around. I remember when there was no cannabis around in our community. I was much younger, but life was still hard. They had less than what they have now, but they didn't have cannabis, and everyone was up and going out. I suppose you could say a bit healthier without the cannabis in community. Yeah.
Hi, my name is Jocelyn Games. I'm from Jiltmingan community. At the stage now, like, I see in few little underage kids, like about 13, 14 years of age. They do smoke. It affects me seeing young teenagers smoking like that. That's what you're with damaging their minds and all that. In the age of when I was a kid, there was no ganja in this community. And there was nothing. We grew up and be a person of our own. Have elders that teach us which food and go hunting as well. And the community runs real good in those days. Not in these days. You have ganja, you have alcohol, got smoke.
So, my advice to young people, go and talk to someone. If you have tried it or you're getting a bit of peer pressure from your friends to try ganja, try to talk to mum and dad or one of the youth workers. You know who they are in community, so go and talk to them about that. Don't be ashamed. It's much better to be without ganja. When you're on ganja, you've got that stress to have it all the time. You can have a better life without the ganja. On your own place, out on country. It's healthier. We need you in community.
I'm Jeff Lohmeyer. I'm the manager of the Social Emotional Wellbeing Cluster of Sunrise Health. When people get broken between those connections between themselves and the sense of who they are, then inside they begin to die. And in that we find that the brokenness then leads to substance misuse and cannabis and alcohol and other drugs in order to find some sense of relief. But that continues to break the inside of the self. So we've taken a view that in order to deal with the brokenness, we need to reconnect with culture and find the person beginning to get their own life back and the sense of who they are. And we've done that in a pictorial way. By looking at drawing it, we use the sacred sites picture from the desert, and we look at law and country and family and dreaming, and in the centre of that is the person's own spirit, their own sense of self. It's a matter of finding that balance and finding that self and being alive and strong again within themselves.
My name is Noel McDonald and I'm a manager of Kleiner Community Patrol. Gunja is a big problem in our communities, amongst young people. It's really, damaging our young people, brains, and also damaging that having respect with their parents and in their community. We noticed that a lot of our young fellas now, stop playing sports and that, and things what we see that young fella just wandering around, doing nothing. And we see a lot of fights here, domestic violence and a group of young people fighting, and, they have not only, ganja, but maybe through alcohol, drunks, fighting, kids walking around, knocking bins in the main street, smashing glasses, The things what we need in our community, it's get elders to get tougher and force a lot of these rules, and get these young people to respect our elders, because that's what our culture is about. It's about respect country and respect people of that country. Showing them bush tucker or showing them country, whose country is it, something like this. They might learn, where whose country it is, and they might having little respect with countries too, because our cultural one that, I will give a message to parents to get their kid into school. That's very important. Get them into education. They have to learn both ways, Aboriginal way and, whitefellow way.
My name is Donald Woods. I'm an outreach worker for Kleiner Association in Katherine, Northern Territory. Growing up in the community, friends I used to know don't know anymore. That's all because of ganja. I've seen how it changes people, and I see how it changes the community. I've seen young people beat up old people, humbugging for money to get ganja. I've seen it firsthand, and it's not a good thing to look at, especially coming from a young person. What sort of things could help is a sport and rec and cultural program in the communities that will help a lot for Aboriginal Indigenous people, especially young people.
My name is Samson Henry. I work at Jebru as a remote alcohol and other drug worker. Kind of sad really to see young kids, hooked on cannabis, and there's a lot of cannabis coming in, coming in the community, and it sort of ruined their life for their family in the community. It sort of take away respect. Today I would see a lot of young kids on the street now that looking for cannabis, and they would sort of walk around middle of the night, and I believe it sort of take away the culture as well. I've seen, I think it was a few years back now, that a young fella wanted to get a rope, and because of cannabis, The police sort of stepped in there, and then the next day they called me, and we had to treat this person as a mental health, under mental health, yeah, and because of cannabis, and wanted to suicide himself, you know, and so sad. Most of all, we do culture with this camp. We sit down and do crockery, you know, I sing the crockery, and boys play the ditch, and we do a lot of culture thing, and we try and get that culture back that way by taking them out on country.
Hello, my name is David Doctor, and I'm from Pacific community. In my community, ganja is a problem, big problem. Ganja can make you stressed out. It can make you do serious things. Feel like it make you do suicide, and to make you go paranoid. In our community, they use their money differently. They don't use it on getting their food or football gear or clothing. They spend differently. They spend it to the grass that they love, ganja. Now the younger kids, they see the older people, what they're doing, they follow their footsteps. And see, it's not good for the young one. It's not good for our culture, and we're losing our culture because of cannabis. Why are you using ganja? You got kids in the house, and you got your family there, doesn't smoke ganja. You're destroying their lives. You're putting shame in your community and your family.
My name is Matthew Conway, and I'm from Jemmingan community. Lived here for 24 years. I do carpentry work in remote communities. I think my job is really helping me moving on, forgetting about what I've done in the past, like just sitting around doing nothing, just smoke dope and drink alcohol too much. And now found it easier to give up all of that by this job. Keep me busy every day, just thinking straight ahead, not behind. I see people spend too much money on alcohol, alcohol and ganja, and the stress that they get just makes them want to have ganja every day, non-stop, and they ended up fighting with their families, smashing houses, and them sort of things. Seen them happen a lot in most of the community that I've been to. Living without ganja for a while, you know, it makes you feel great, confident. You have something to come home to, and less stress with family, and at least you can have fun going out bush hunting and spend some time with family, and without any violence with you and family. Helping fellas, I would say, come on man, you're a young fella, fit and healthy, just stand up to yourself and look for an opportunity to change and forget about cannabis and all of them things what you do, and live life. There's plenty to see out there instead stuck in one place.
My name Shira Conway, all the way from LC Station right up to Jilkmangan. Brought back to my days, no ganja. But you know, no good for kids. And some bigger school people, you know, school kids, they're no good. Gunja, after Ganja mixed growth, that's too much for them. Gonna look run fight, and kid gonna run a middle of the fight and watching. That's not right. People been only dancing, everything. Not today, too much growth, too much Ganja. They don't respect. That Ganja take away. Ganja take away. Forget about your culture. Get up from that Ganja, leave him Ganja, him not good. Stand up. Stand up on your feet for your country wise.
Well, my name is Robert Connolly. I was born and bred at LC Station, and then we moved back from LC to Giltmingen in the 60s. We got a bit of a problem there from the Ganja, and the Ganja is affecting my people. And my younger generation today, I don't see them much interested on working. They smoke that Ganja and they don't work. They just blooding on dole money, and what they do is spend their money on Ganja and don't buy any taka. I would like to say for my young generation, instead of you going smoking Ganja, why can't you, come with me out in the bush? I'll show you the culture, our culture. Who's going to hurt for you? The family going to hurt for you. Ganja, it's not our culture.
In our community, I've found that it's more men that are likely to use cannabis. Ganja, or marijuana, is a really big deal because I find when they're bored, they're more likely to smoke it, or when they aren't given something to do, or grief and loss, they'll normally turn to marijuana. And since most things have been taken away from them, so jobs, looking after like the community and stuff, they've lost their footing in community. So yeah, it's pretty bad. We need men. We need them to stand up. We need them to take ownership, take responsibility, and they can't if they've got a demon like cannabis that they need to fight off.
This is our culture way.
Ganja no good.
Don't want no cannabis in town. We must try clean up our act, get our communities together. And when we do, it's a natural fact. We'll beat this cannabis forever. For too many years we've been under its spell. One step forward, two steps back.